Two-headed right, two heads are better than one-headed right. Two heads are better than one-headed right. Two heads are better than one-headed right. Two heads are better than one.
Hello! Welcome back to our channel. My name is Evelyn.
My name is Monty.
And together we're the two-headed writer, a father-daughter writing team based out of Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Once a week we get together to catch up on our writing endeavors. We're glad that you joined us today on our writing journey. We have lots of good news to share with you today. We'll get to that in a minute. Evelyn, how are you doing on the book that you're writing?
So, it's officially no longer July, which means I am done with Camp NaNoWriMo. I won Camp NaNoWriMo early, and...
Meaning you hit your word goal for the month.
Yes.
Word count
in
goal.
the month of July, I wrote over 15,500 words, which puts my total word count for the manuscript currently around 45,000 words, and I'm trying to hit anywhere between 55 and 65,000 minimum.
And have you put your draft together front to back, or are you still
No,
sort of knitting?
I still don't have everything written. I am going to spend some time sticking pieces together and try to get the beginning fully written and the end fully written, because those are the two parts that have the most stuff. But I'm still like discovering things about the story, and I had been writing this like series of scenes with these characters who reoccur, who are just like, I was like, oh, they work for this other guy and they're just two like kind of bumbling like henchmen. And then I was like, you know what, these two dudes are boring, what if I made one of them competent? And I was like, you know what if I made the competent one a girl, just for fun? And because I like female characters who are like not just morally aligned with the heroes of the story, right? Like, she's actively working against the heroes of my story. And as I'm writing her, like, taunting them, she started saying some really personal things to the main male character. And I was like, maybe they've got, like, a backstory here. And so, anyway, now my main male character has a mean older sister who's trying to turn him in for ransom money.
Good job. I mean, you took the cliched, default decision of two bumbling idiot males and just spun something interesting out of it.
Yes.
Instead.
So
that's awesome.
And that all just happened within like one writing session where I was just like, what if she's a woman? Because I'm bored writing these two guys. And then, so now I have to go back and change all those other scenes so that she's there. My goal is to finish this draft sometime during August, polish it in September, and then be ready to potentially submit to Pitch Wars last week of September. While I've been working on that, you, after months of telling me you were going to get back to it, have gotten back to Danica Dunn. Tell me about it.
I've gotten through draft 3 and I am letting it sit for a little bit. I have also joined a critique group, so there are 4 of us, and we've met once just to sort of talk about how we're going to do things, and we meet again on Monday, and I've already gotten some feedback from them on chapter 1 of Danica, so I'm going to take their feedback, and then I'll probably read through the manuscript another time, just see how I feel about it, but I'm feeling pretty good about it. Yeah. So I think Danica Dunn is almost ready to query. We'll see. Evelyn, you have received something in the mail that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I did receive something in the mail. Did you want me to bring it? Because I did not bring it, but I can go get it.
I will entertain you while Evelyn's gone. Yeah, yeah. I will entertain you while Evelyn's gone. Yeah, yeah. She's gonna be back in a minute with the things she wants to show, so I will entertain you. Aren't you lucky folks? Doodle
me here. Inklit Magazine, Volume 18. This is one of the on-campus magazines at the University of Iowa. It is sponsored by the Magid Center for Undergraduate Writing, and it specifically is for first-year students to submit their work to. I was on the reading team for this magazine during the spring semester, and I have a drama piece published in here. So this is my first published work. I don't know why I flipped through the entire thing, because it's literally the first piece. I did that! I wrote this thing! Those are my words! Ah!
Evelyn's first published work. So I don't have mine to show you yet, but, well, yeah, I do. Bum, bum, bum. This is my first published work. It's a short story called Save the Fighting Marmalutes, and it just came out in this anthology called Brave New Girls, Tales of Girls Who Tech and Tinker. There are several Brave New Girl anthologies already out. They've been coming out like once per year, and this is the latest one. It's just a book full of short stories about girls who tech and tinker. And I haven't had the chance to read it yet. I haven't got my copy in my hand yet. But
I think it's the fifth anthology.
the previous anthology was awesome, so I'm sure this one is even more awesome. And I highly recommend it. So you can get it on Amazon. We haven't talked about our book together yet.
Correct.
Nothing new going on there at all. No, it's not that big a deal. So we've been querying. We've gotten about 8 rejections back. But today, this very day that we're recording, we got a request for the full manuscript. So that's a big deal when querying. That takes us to the next step up.
Last time she was interested in our premise that we kind of outlined in our query letter. However, there was a specific detail about the way that we were opening our first chapter that turned her off of the story. And so she was kind enough to tell us exactly what her problem was. And we asked, if we change the opening, we're not in love with the opening, if we changed it, do you think it would change how you felt about the book? And she said, yes, I do. And so we were like, oh, might as well change it. And I would not say we did this whole revision just for her. He keeps saying that. We changed other things
didn't
too.
say that.
Yes, you did.
I might have implied it. It wasn't just for her. We agreed with her feedback. And we changed it because we want our book to be the best it can be.
Mm-hmm. And we definitely prefer our new opening
Much better.
vastly, vastly, vastly.
Let us know what was your most recent writing accomplishment. And, you know, that could be anything from I wrote 500 words this week on a story to I had a new idea to I got a draft done or submitted something somewhere or whatever. Like, what was the last thing you got done?
So while we are waiting to hear back from the rest of the agents we queried, as well as, fingers crossed, to hear something good from this one particular agent, we have been working on figuring out what the heck is going to happen in book 2. Because we are planning Inklings of Ethermore to be a trilogy, a middle grade fantasy trilogy. And we, for the longest time, have been like, okay, here's what's going to happen. Here's this book, we wrote it. And then in this book, this guy's bad, and then this book, this guy's bad, and like maybe these people are here, and like maybe this happens. And that was it. We didn't really figure it out past that.
It seems so clear though. It's like we had our very succinct idea and thought, oh, it'll be easy to just figure that out. No, we start talking about it and it's like, yeah, but in book 1 this happened and that kind of limits our choices, and then, you know, there's a lot to figure out. It's like, where will our characters be in a month from now?
Yeah. So we left our characters at the end of book one in a sort of unusual spot, and so we're trying to figure out, like, what's gonna happen and where it makes the most sense to pick back up for book two. We need to figure out, like, what is Macy's goal? That's our really big issue. Is like, we knew who we wanted to be the antagonist, but we didn't even think about what we needed the protagonist to be trying to do.
I think yesterday we had a really good session. All our sessions go like this. We start off staring at each other and saying, and then we maybe look a little bit at what we wrote down last time, and then we stare at each other and go, and then Evelyn has her timer going, and about 20 minutes before it's going to go off, we start going, oh yeah, oh, what if, how about this? And then the timer goes off, and then we're still like, yeah, and then this can happen, and then and about 20 to 40 minutes after that, it was like the timer went off, and I'm like, okay. So
we're supposed to meet for at least an hour every day. We spend a lot of time during that initial hour, like, arguing about something silly. Like, what was it yesterday? Yesterday it was like, we were talking about the opening and how, in the opening of a book, he was telling me, you have to get in the first chapter what the story is about, but you don't necessarily need the inciting incident to be right near the beginning, right? And so,
that is so, like, non-representative of the point I was trying to make.
What? I still don't know what point you were trying to make. You were just telling me things I already knew. I was sitting there like, okay.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
No, what point were you trying to... Okay, you say your thing. You say what you were saying.
You're close.
What was your point?
Alright. That you're not gonna get to the inciting incident right away, but you have to get to some kind of conflict right away. So you need to build conflict up.
I was
like,
getting to that.
A thing happens that's a conflict.
I was getting to that.
And it leads to the next thing that happens that's a conflict.
You didn't let me get to this part.
And you keep your character in conflict.
Mm-hmm.
So that by the time you get to the inciting incident, that's a surprising new conflict.
Yes.
But you got something to hang your hat on until you get there.
I was literally about to say that.
Were you?
You interrupted me.
Were you? Because you kind of said, he was telling me this. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, that wasn't really it.
Well, I was trying to summarize the entire...
Okay, we are reenacting the sort of nonsense arguments that we have for you. That was a reenactment.
Yes.
That was...
and scene.
Scene.
All I was trying to say was that you don't have to have your inciting incident right at the beginning of the very first chapter. You do need to have some sort of conflict that grabs the attention of the readers, something that the character is doing, but also that a good story, the way that the character is introduced, the initial conflict, even if it isn't the main conflict of the story, will reflect on what the character needs to have learned by the end of the story.
Yes, that too. Now we're trying to figure out how to ramp up book 2 into a main character arc problem.
Yes. And I think we maybe touched on a potential inciting incident yesterday, which means now we just have to go back and ramp down to whatever initial problem Macy's dealing with at the opening of the story.
Right.
I go back to school in a little over 2 weeks, and so...
I'm used to having her here.
Hopefully we will have at least a loose outline of what we want book 2 to look like by the time I leave, because I think it'll be easier to work off a framework together from a distance than it would be to just still be totally brainstorming and lost.
Yeah. Plus, we decided we need to come up with some other book ideas to write together in case our agent asks us if we have anything else cooking.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So the agents that we're querying right now, we're querying with our co-written project, and one of the things that we're planning on asking them is, would you be willing to look at and potentially represent work that we've written independently? But because the work that we've written independently is quite different, both from each other and from the Ethermore project, it's not necessarily going to be something that they're interested in, and we might have to seek out different representation for our individual work. But it's also possible that Ethermore might not sell right away, and the agent that does pick up Ethermore would be interested in working on other projects that we've co-written. And we have a couple of ideas that we've joked about over the years that could potentially turn into things. We could potentially come up with something else, but it's a conversation that we ought to have, just in case.
That's right. So, lots on our plate, and lots of things happening for us right now. So,
Yes.
we're pretty pleased with the way our journey is going.
This is a good week in the journey. If you like this video and you want to keep following us on our writing journey, remember to click that subscribe button and also ring that bell icon so you can be notified whenever we upload a new video. Remember to
Give us a thumbs up.
give us a thumbs up and comment down below what was your most recent writing win. We will be back next week with another video, but until then, remember,
2 heads are better than one. Oh, girl, I love you so much.